This episode is brought to you by Huel. Huel is a complete meal with nutrients you need to thrive, which is why I love it, because I can just throw this stuff in their cute little shaker and get on my way. I just tried Huel's Black Edition vanilla flavor and it was amazing. I like to mix mine with a banana and a little bit of chocolate. And just when you thought Huel had everything covered, they just dropped a first of its kind Super Greens drink in a can. It's called Huel Daily Greens Ready to Drink. You can try Huel right now with 15% off for new customers today using my code DENVER at Huel.com/Denver. Fuel your best performance with Huel today. That's Huel.com/Denver. And don't forget to use my special code DENVER. This episode is brought to you by Window Nation. It's September, cooler weather's on the way, and if your windows are drafty or leaky, now's the time to act. Replace your older builder-grade windows with custom-built, high-quality windows from Window Nation. And hey, no better time than right now. Through the month of September, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. Hurry, the buy 2 windows, get 2 free sale ends September 30th. Don't miss out. This is Window Nation's most popular deal. Schedule a fast free estimate now with Window Nation at windownation.com. That's windownation.com. Today on CityCast Denver. A nasty divorce, a fight over a restaurant's name, and a battle to possess a prized recipe. That's right, it's green chili season, and the owners of La Loma have been duking it out in court. Only one of them gets to walk away with the La Loma moniker. But what does it all mean for generations of customers who love their signature green chili? One Denver Post reporter explains it all. Today is Wednesday, September 10th. I'm Bree Davies, and here's what Denver's talking about. Miguel Ogirola, welcome back to CityCast Denver.
Oh my goodness, thanks for having me.
This is like such a great story to talk to you about. But let's talk about it. We're going to talk about some green chili. But I want to start with maybe, could you describe La Loma's green chili? What is it like?
La Loma's green chili is very thick compared to a lot of the green chilies that I've tried across Denver, that I've had the chance to try because there's so many. You know, while most people, when they make it, might come out a little soupier, or they might just add a little bit of cornstarch to really kind of thicken it up a little bit. La Loma's is almost like a gravy, like a step short of mashed potatoes, I would say. So that's the texture.
Let's talk about the taste and maybe the spice level.
The taste is flavorful. There's all sorts. See, this is the thing. I was assigned a story to find the recipe to really see what's so great about La Loma's green chili, because it really seems like it's the standard when it comes to green chili around Denver, or at least for the longevity of it. And I wasn't able to find it, but I can only imagine there's all sorts of different ingredients that go into it. I mean, the green chili taste is high. The spice level is high. As you eat it, you'll start to sweat. I think I'm not the first person to notice that, and I'm a sweaty guy, but it really started to happen quite quickly.
Well, we'll talk about the recipe in a little bit and this search that you went on. Did you grow up in Denver? What's your connection with green chile yourself?
Well, it's actually it's almost new. It's sort of new because I am from Chile. You know, I am from the country in South America that is shaped like a chile, and everybody thinks has spicy food, and it has no spicy food whatsoever. There's nothing spicy there. When I moved to the United States when I was 8, it was a shock. You know, like I have family that comes and they eat a Chipotle burrito and they're like, this is too spicy. So that's how long it's taken me. It's taken me 20 plus years to get to the level where I feel comfortable even trying the things that I'm trying right now.
Really?
Green chili was like really that big first step for me, especially here in Denver, like getting associated with like, all right, what is there? People talk about how hot it is and how spicy it is, but what does that really mean? And then I realized like, oh yeah, like it does mean something. And it's like staggering. And now I love green chili. I just want to say, because it's taken me on such a journey.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask you, because I wonder sometimes, I think those of us that have like a real attachment to it have, you know, very strong feelings about something that other folks will try and be like, what's the big deal? But you have an affinity for it now that you've really like acclimated to the taste of
Yeah, I
it.
mean, I think it's kind of a bummer because there's so many new residents or people that come to Denver that maybe don't know the history or like don't really know the history of the chilies in this area of the country, in this area of the continent, how big a deal it is, how it's sustained people for so long. And honestly, like, yeah, I mean, just I think it's something that goes beyond just like, trendy cuisine. It's really more about sustenance, and it really is about like feeling warm and hearty. This is like the best time to be talking about green chili, right? Oh, you're getting me giddy.
The chilies themselves are ubiquitous, so you can try to make. I mean, like I grew up eating it because my dad made it, and I don't know where he got that recipe. I mean, he's a military brat who grew up mostly in El Paso, but uh, it was the thing. I was kind of trained on it,
Yeah.
and so it was just part of my regular repertoire of things that I ate year round. But I just wonder because sometimes, I mean, I have to be honest with you. Sometimes we serve it up, and I'm like, this maybe isn't what everybody loves, but some people, especially folks that grew up on it, really love it. But it's nice to know that you can like come to love it too. That makes me feel actually better about it.
100%. And I'll try like anybody's green chili. Like I'll try yours. I know that my editor, Jonathan Shikes, he makes a mean green chili, but I've never tried it. So if he's interested in sending me some of that, that'd be awesome. And I made it for the first time in the midst of doing this entire journey because the Denver Post also came out with a green chili bracket this year.
Right.
Um, and well, I really needed to do my research. I was like, how can I talk about green chili without making green chili? And I gave it an effort, and that's all I'll say.
How'd you feel about your first batch?
Well, how do I feel about it? Good. I mean, I feel good about it. I'm ready to go again, but this time, like, double or triple up the number of chilies and just go hard.
Okay. Well, let me know how it goes because I haven't made it since childhood either, and I really should probably get back into it. But
Yeah, that's the time.
tis the season. I'd love for you to just take me back to the beginning of La Loma. What is the origin of this restaurant and their green chili?
La Loma has been around for at least 40 years, if not more than 50 years, kind of like in its, well, you could say like most up to date iteration before La Loma now has split. Um, but it started really with a, you know, Mexican family, a Hispanic family here from the area. And you'll see the matriarch of the restaurant, Grandma Savina Mendoza. Um, there's a portrait of her that kind of, I think, hangs maybe in every restaurant. And that's exactly where it starts. So it really was a family that then sold the green chili and the name La Loma, I believe. If not the name, I might be mistaken. But they sold the green chili recipe and everything that came with it to the Brinkerhoff family. And the Brinkerhoff family sort of who grew La Loma to be like the main branch of sort of franchise of Mexican restaurants that it sort of is around the Front Range now.
This episode is brought to you by the Children's Hospital Colorado Foundation. Children's Hospital Colorado is there for families for everything from healing broken bones to treating pediatric cancer. And did you know it's also a nonprofit? Ranked a top 10 children's hospital in the country and the #1 children's hospital in the region, Children's Colorado depends on community support to serve over 296,000 kids every year. At the Children's Gala on September 27th, make life-saving care possible for more kids while experiencing an elegant night of fun and inspiration. Enjoy a cocktail reception, multi-course dinner, an inspiring program, and live music to dance the night away. Or purchase an after-party only ticket to enjoy the live music and late-night bites. Attend the Children's Gala and give families the gift of hope. Get your tickets today at givechildrensco.org/children's gala. That's givechildrensco.org/children's gala. Brought to you by The Drop 104.7. The Drop 104.7 is Denver's home for urban alternative, where hip hop, R&B, and conscious beats collide. They play everything from the classics to the freshest beats, while highlighting the emerging artists who are pushing culture forward. Catch live performances, artist interviews, and conversations that matter on The Drop. The station is also a hub for music discovery, healing, and community engagement, aimed at inspiring the next generation of creatives and innovators. Plus, The Drop goes beyond just musical offerings. It serves as a vibrant connector for the community, promoting local involvement and celebrating the rich tapestry of culture and arts in the region. I did wander upon the Denver DJ School block party recently, where La Molly was, who's one of the awesome DJs at The Drop, and she was interviewing DJ Maceo from De La Soul. So I randomly got to see DJ Maceo from De La Soul in person, sweetheart, and also Master DJ. It was so cute. Tune in to 104.7 FM in Denver or stream online at thedrop303.org. That's thedrop303.org and discover your next favorite track. This episode is brought to you by Wise. Wise is the app for international people using money around the globe. With Wise, you can send, spend, and receive up to 40 currencies with only a few simple taps and save up to 55% compared to major banks. Plus, Wise won't add hidden fees to your transfer. Whether you're buying souvenirs with pesos in Puerto Vallarta or sending euros to tip your Coliseum tour guide, you know you're getting a fair exchange rate with no extra markups. That's what makes Wise the fast, affordable way to use your money around the globe. Wise offers 24/7 live support and runs over 7 million daily checks to catch and prevent fraud, so you know your money is where it's supposed to be. Be smart. Join the 15 million customers who choose Wise. Download the Wise app today or visit wise.com. Learn more by visiting wise.com/US/compare. T's and C's apply. So, if you go into La Loma today, you do hear a lot about Grandma Mendoza. Like you said, her portrait is there. I think that's one of the most memorable things to me, especially about their original location. She's the one that created the recipe, like you said. But I wonder, is there anything more that we could know about the relationship between Grandma Mendoza and the Mendoza and the Brinkerhoffs who are fighting over this recipe? Because it's kind of, honestly, the history is kind of vague.
I know at this point, I really figured that, the Mendoza family seems really out of the picture. Aside from, the way that they do symbolize Grandma Mendoza or represent her in each restaurant, whatever that might mean to the Brinkerhoff family, I do know that they're always, in statements and in comments or history about the restaurant, they're always trying to, go back to mention that Mendoza origin. But aside from that, it was really difficult for me to find out anything about the original, like the existing Mendoza family and what sort of relationship or even knowledge they have of La Loma's proceedings. I know that they've gone to restaurants whenever they've had unveilings of, new portraits, existing, what is it called? Like extended family members. But I was unable to get in touch with anybody, and I tried.
It's so interesting to me. Like, she almost, I don't want to say she feels like a mascot, but she kind of feels like, I don't know. She's like a representation of the restaurant, but it's a business, right? And I think of it as like, maybe it was a business deal, and this is a great representation of a store. I mean, everything has a story. It's a little bit mythic in that way. I think maybe because you couldn't find the Mendozas.
Yeah, and you're right. I think I'd have to go back and check like when this transfer happened, right? And La Loma was bought. But that also mean Mendoza's image and everything like that. And I'm imagining that. I mean, it's something now that when we're mentioning the current iteration of La Loma and the whole family being divorced, it's something that both of them are carrying with them. They're both carrying the Mendoza name and the green chili recipe because they know that both are good for business.
That's a good way to put it. Well, let's talk about that. That's what is really fast forward to today. Why we're talking about La Loma in this moment is there's this divorce and legal battle situation. What's going on there? And this is with the Brinkerhoffs, the family that owns it. What's the story there?
Yes, and I have to, as a good journalist, I'll cite my sources and say that I feel like the first story I saw that really unraveled all this came from Business Journal, which we then published in the Denver Post. It totally unraveled and unspooled what was a very acrimonious divorce proceeding. Um, I think it would be unfair for me to even say like how it began necessarily, but there's been accusations kind of on both sides. Um, from Renee Brinkerhoff, who is the ex-wife, and William Brinkerhoff, who is the ex-husband. Um, in that story from this, then Renee, and through kind of like these court proceedings, kind of out the story outlines that William Brinkerhoff was sort of involved in these nasty. See, like it's difficult for me to even mention this. It's like
Well, I was gonna say, we don't have to talk about the dirty details, I guess, about that, but this is really about the couple. The main couple that owns this restaurant is in this explosive divorce.
there were accusations on both sides, and a lot of money is involved in both these situations. A lot of money and a lot of properties, a lot of real estate. There were even Porsches involved, and like accusations of paying off like these like what is it called? Like when you're really into driving fast car, like a racing habit on Renee's behavior. It was very odd.
And then the big part though here is, like you said, properties. We're talking about La Loma restaurants. So that's kind of at the crux of this right now, right? Is like they're splitting. Well, what's the story? They're splitting the restaurants, and that also involves the
It
name
involves exactly.
and the recipe.
It involves the name, and for a long time, Renee Brinkerhoff did argue that it did involve the recipe, and that the recipe was also sort of, you could say, intellectual property. Um, during these divorce proceedings that kind of took place this year and maybe a little bit of late last year, I believe a judge or a judicial arbiter ended up saying that no, this green chili recipe is widespread enough and is almost similar enough to something that you could get somewhere else that you can't really say it is intellectual property.
Wow.
So it was already saying that there was somebody that used to work in La Loma that then opened up another restaurant and started selling similar green chili too. Another journey that took me nowhere because I really tried to find out who that was, but I could not.
Oh yeah, because so you said in your piece, it was like not only is the recipe not a secret, but it wouldn't be considered intellectual property with a monetary value, which was, like you said, this was determined in court by a judge deciding.
Yeah, exactly. Of the many things they split, this was something that everybody could have, basically.
But what I found interesting was the judge said that it was out there, it had been published, but you're saying you could not find an actual publication anywhere of this actual recipe.
Yeah, if this judicial arbiter is listening to this and has the link, he should definitely send it to me because I would love to know exactly what internet post and what online reference he was referring to.
So they can both take William and Renee Brinkerhoff can both take this recipe with them. Where are they going? What's happening with the restaurants?
There's already a bunch of restaurants that exist both like in Denver and then more in Castle Rock area. And they were going to continue to be new restaurants that were going to open up. And I think that is where the La Loma name really comes into like question. What do you call these new restaurants that now these two separate sides of the family are going to be opening up and running? They split them equally during the divorce proceedings, whatever existed. Renee Brinkerhoff, who was the ex-wife, is going to be with William Jr., who is one of her sons. And then her other son, Mark, does business proceedings with William, the ex-husband, so his father. That side, in the middle of all these divorce proceedings, and as these restaurants continue to open up, ceded the name of La Loma to Renee Brinkerhoff and William Jr. And so now Renee, according to, I believe it's sort of like a statement representing Renee's business interests and Renee's side of the family, they are the sole owners of La Loma's name now.
Okay, so her restaurants can be named that. What I found interesting about this split was the restaurant. It's a little complicated because the original La Loma, they moved and it was torn down. But what has been now sort of the OG La Loma, the one downtown.
I would love to know more about that because I don't know. See, you might know more about that original one. I know just the flagship location downtown, the one by Brown Palace.
It's totally different in that it was these three, I think it was three miners houses, like Victorian era miners' houses that they conjoined into one restaurant. That's kind of what made it really beautiful, honestly, was it was this cool combination of three old houses that they turned into a giant restaurant. And it had this great view of downtown Denver. But I think they got a deal they couldn't refuse, like in 2015 or 2016. And they sold the property and they moved it to this downtown location. And I mean, from since then, so I would say almost 10 years now, that's been the La Loma. So the fact that that's no longer going to be La Loma, right? So now the downtown, the sort of pseudo OG restaurant is going to be Savina's.
Savina's, named after Grandma Mendoza.
Okay. So Savina Mendoza, Grandma Mendoza. So we're going to have Savina's, and that is the William Brinkerhoff side of things. And then we're going to have La Lomas, which aren't in this. Well, no, there's a McGregor Square.
There is one not too far away in McGregor
La
Square.
Loma.
That just opened up.
Which is so wild to me.
And I think that was one of the ones that was original. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, that was really the one that was kind of drawing a lot of issue between both sides of the family, because it was in the middle of opening and they wanted to use the La Loma name, but you can't have two La Lomas downtown. So
that's so fascinating that it's come down to this. Did you in this research that you did and all these interviews, did you ever meet the Brinkerhoffs?
No. What I did get a chance to do was have an extended conversation with Mark Brinkerhoff, because in this original assignment that I got to try to find the green chili recipe that everybody loves and everybody wants to be made public. Everybody wants to know how to make it. And I'm saying everybody, but everybody loves knowledge. Knowledge is power. I spoke with him, seeing if he was interested in sharing the recipe, almost as a chance to kind of, acknowledge the fact that of what the judicial arbiter said. And he said that he would. We made a point to talk, and I should have just asked him right then and there, because the next day I called him, he didn't pick up, and he didn't pick up ever again.
Wow.
So that was my journey with the Brinkerhoff family, and now I see the statements that he mentioned here regarding ceding the La Loma name in an effort to bring peace to the family.
Something else I found really interesting in this piece you wrote is that although La Loma requires employees at its downtown location to sign NDAs. So even if, according to the judge, this recipe is out there, they really are still trying their hardest, as you experienced personally, to keep the recipe a secret.
Yeah, and for anybody who's like in the industry now, that they may think it's or they may find it more common to sign something like an NDA or kind of keeping trade secrets or trade recipes when you leave a restaurant or something like that. Maybe it isn't as common as I think. But yes, I mean, and it's something that's hard to enforce after somebody leaves a restaurant.
Yeah.
Which, the La Loma Empire is huge.
Yeah, I wonder, what does this all mean for Denverites or people that really have an affection or an attachment to La Loma and their green chili?
Technically, it doesn't mean much, because everybody keeps the same recipes, everybody keeps the same food, everybody keeps the allure that they want to keep for the La Loma restaurants, or the now Savina's restaurants, and anything else that they open up across the Front Range. Both sides of the family said that the food is really not expected to change in that respect. What is lost when the classic La Loma's location is changed to Savina's? Geez, I don't really know. I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Brie?
I think that it just is going to become one of those markers of Denver where you've been here since this time. So if you've been here since before La Loma changed over, you may still call it the old La Loma instead of Savina's kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yes, this is the one small step. Really... that's a really big change, and it's going to maybe differentiate when you showed up.
Well, Miguel, this was so fun. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Brie. It was so good to see you.
That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed this show, why not take a minute to tell William and Renee Brinkerhoff about us? Rate the show wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe to our morning newsletter and learn more about us at denver.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye-bye. The husband and the wife that are fighting are William and Renee, and then there's William Jr. who's with Renee. Renee and William Jr. own La Loma. William Sr. owns Savina's.